Good morning, SMPS Oregon. My name is Maisha Hagan, and today we are continuing our conversation with the part 2 of our coffee chat, Rise and Shine, discussing the 5 bases of power. Since it's been a while since we've been together, let's review the learning objectives. First and foremost, I want you to be able to better understand why you are influenced by other people. Secondly, I want you to be able to better recognize your own natural sources of power and how you tend to influence other people. You're going to continue to build your leadership skills by using and developing your own sources of power appropriately and in the right situations for the best effect. And lastly, I want you to be able to develop strategies so that you know how to respond to other people's styles of influence. Also, as a refresh, I want to remind you that some of these types of power are positional, which means that they are related to where you are in the organization, while others are personal. They are a reflection of who you are in the organization. Remember also that your ability to respond well to other people's leveraging of power helps you to build rapport, confidence, and trust. And these 3 things are really foundational to being able to influence people and outcomes either currently or in future situations. In our previous session, we talked about legitimate power and reward power. Legitimate basically being the power that you leverage because of the title on the door or on your business card. And reward power being a reflection of what you are able to do for others. In our time together today, we're going to be talking about 2 new forms of power, coercive and expert. So this is a scene from one of my favorite movies. It's called The Devil Wears Prada. And if you have not seen this movie, you clearly have been living under a rock because it's 15 years old and it's fabulous. In this movie, Meryl Streep plays Miranda Priestly. And let me tell you, Miranda Priestly is not to be played with, okay? She instills fear in the heart of everyone.
She's on her way. Tell everyone.
She's not supposed to be here until 9.
Her driver just text messaged and her facial is ruptured a disc. God, these people. That I can't even talk about.
All right, everyone, gird your loins. Did someone eat an onion bagel?
Why it's so difficult to confirm an appointment.
No, I'm so sorry, Miranda. I actually did confirm last night.
Details of your incompetence do not interest me. Tell Simone I'm not going to prove that girl that she sent me for the Brazilian layout. I asked for clean, athletic, smiling. She sent me dirty, tired, and paunchy. And RSVP, yes, the Michael Kors party. I want the driver to drop me off at 9:30 and pick me up at 9:45 sharp.
She requires perfection. But not only does she require perfection, she will destroy you with a sneer, a look, and a word. if it is not perfect. And that really is the essence of coercive power. Whereas reward power is about what I can do for you, coercive power is about what I can do to you. It is typically based in fear. It is typically based in intimidation. And sometimes it is based in harassment and bullying. It is absolutely a positional power because the person who has power is the one that is suppressing a person that they assume does not have power. And as a result, this can create some very, very dangerous situations. Now, obviously, we can think of all the reasons why you would not want to lead with this type of power. In addition to it being demeaning and dismissive of another person, in many cases, it's dangerous, right? Because it can open up someone to being injured, being hurt, being sued. And most people, I would say, really want to avoid those situations. That said, there are situations and circumstances where coercive power is actually quite useful. If there is a situation, either within your team or within your firm, where there is an extreme violation of policy, or an extreme violation of position, or an extreme violation of someone's rights, then this is not the time to try to reward someone out of bad behavior into good behavior. This is not the time to pull the because I said so, right? Because we don't know that they necessarily honor and respect a title. But what we can say is, if you do not stop this behavior immediately, there will be consequences. And that actually is a very good use of coercive power. So think about situations where someone is operating in any of the isms, right? Racism, sexism, ageism. Think about situations where someone is violating safety policies, where they are maybe cutting corners that could result in really dangerous situations and circumstances, either in the built environment. Think about situations that could result in lawsuits. These are situations and circumstances where the use of coercive power may not only be recommended, it may be required. So if you have a situation where someone is violating policy, or they are stepping outside of the bounds of what is appropriate, what is legal, right? What is safe? What I like about actually leveraging coercive power in these situations is that it moves the responsibility to address the behavior and change it away from the victim and onto the person who's actually behaving incorrectly. So it's not about, hey, victim, you need to do something to stop this person from doing to you. It is an aggressive form of communication and power that says to the violator, you will stop or actions will be taken against you. And that is the kind of power that you need to leverage when you need someone to cut it out. So what do you do when someone is using this kind of power on you? This situation is a little bit more complex. In situations where someone is leveraging coercive power on you, I would say you need to choose between fight or flight. And the cultural norm of the environment that you're in can help you determine which decision is appropriate for you. So should you fight it out? Well, I would say if you are in a sea of sanity and the person who is leveraging this coercive power is the lone crazy person, right? They are the only person who is behaving this way. and everyone else within the organization is appropriate and is behaving well, then I think that it could be a situation worth fighting, right? Now, when I say fighting, I obviously don't mean go out and knock the person over the head, but I do mean that it could be a good idea for you to stand your ground, for you to speak to that person's manager, for you to talk to HR, for you to take other actions that say this behavior that this person is using towards me is inappropriate and it needs to stop. Typically, if that person is the lone crazy person in the organization and the organization has said we are a culture that does not accept that, then eventually there will be a separation, right? There will be a separation because either that person will quit or they will be fired. If, on the other hand, you are the isle of sanity in a sea of crazy, it is just dysfunction everywhere. I don't know. There could be a long laundry list of inappropriate behavior. But if that inappropriate behavior is accepted, if your office environment feels like a set of Survivor and you are the single sane person, then what I say is get out of there. And here's why. You're too smart. You're too brilliant. You know what you're doing. You understand how to run business. You are a contributor to the bottom line. No one deserves to be treated like that. You are a human being. You are somebody's child, and perhaps you are somebody's parent. People love you. You have value. And to be treated this way is inappropriate. Furthermore, folks are looking for marketing professionals all over the place. Right now, they're searching Mars, not for signs of life, for marketing professionals, because we're rare diamonds out here, right? And so I guarantee you that there are safer shores and places you can go where people will not only respect the work you do, but they will respect the human that you are. So, you know, you take that, you do with it what you will, but certainly know that the culture of the organization is going to be the determining factor as to whether you can probably expect things to improve or things to stay the same. The fourth kind of power that I want to discuss is expert power. Expert power is the first power that we're going to look at that is in the personal category. So this is power that is intrinsic to who you are and cannot be separated from you. It is a part of your very being, like your skin color, your eye color, the pitch of your voice. All of these are things that belong to you. When you have knowledge and skills that enable you to understand a situation, suggest solutions, use solid judgment, and generally outperform others, people will probably listen to you. Expert power is incredibly valuable because you can become an expert in just about anything. You don't have to know it all. You just have to know more than the average person to your left or to your right. One pro of expert power is that you can learn anything. Even right now, as you are sipping your coffee and maybe in your comfy pants, you're learning, right? And if you wanted to become an absolute expert at the forms of power, you could take courses, read books, read white papers, go to seminars, and could just saturate your brain in the 5 bases of power. And the other thing is that thanks to the internet, there's so much knowledge and data and information that's available to us that you really can learn just about anything. So this is a kind of a funny shirt that I like, which says that I'm not an expert, but I have watched a number of YouTube videos. And true story, I have diagnosed a dog with mange and kennel cough from YouTube. I learned how to fix my leaky faucets from YouTube. 40% of the stuff that I cook is stuff that I learned how to cook off of YouTube. And I don't know about you, but there have been plenty of times where I needed to figure something out in InDesign, and YouTube was my saving grace. So again, expertise is not about knowing everything there is to know about a subject. It simply is about knowing enough to be able to add value and propose solutions that other people may not have considered or thought of. One of the cons of operating in expert power is that you could come off as a know-it-all, and you may be isolating or discouraging other people from participating in the conversations or contributing their ideas because you think you got the best ideas. And that closes us off from having wider and larger perspectives that bring in more information. So if your meetings look like this, or this, then there's a chance that you are discouraging people from participating because you are leveraging this type of power too frequently and too aggressively. And although you may feel like you have the best idea and the obvious way to move forward, the reality is that you are limited in your perspective. And if you cut people off from contributing their knowledge or their perspective, then you actually suppress what could be an even better idea, right? And remember that our goal is to get stuff done. So allow other people to contribute, allow other people to throw something in the pot, allow other people to bring something to the potluck, so that we can all eat more. I really love this picture because it demonstrates how we see and contribute from our particular perspective, but how when we allow other people to contribute their perspective, right, and add their part, we get a beautiful tapestry. We get something that is better, larger, faster, more dynamic, more efficient. And that's incredibly important when we are trying to accomplish goals. One of the things that Dale Carnegie talks about in their management training course is allowing people to contribute to the outcome that they have to live in. And sometimes when people operate from expert power, they miss the opportunity to do this. If you're concerned that this could be you, find a couple people that you trust and ask them for honest feedback. And if they say to you, yeah, you do kind of operate like this, then you better. Shout out to the 80s and 90s babies. So how do you respond when someone is leveraging this type of power on you? The best response to expert power is to contribute and not challenge. If you come flat out and you say, this is a dumb idea, here's why I don't think it's going to work, then all that's going to happen is that you're going to reach a stalemate because the other person has not opened up their mind to be open to influence, input, or knowledge from anyone else. But by contributing, you give the impression that you are being supportive of a person's idea and looking for ways to improve it. Again, I understand that you may not like the sound or feeling of this. And I am telling you to totally pick the battles you want to fight. But keep in mind that every battle is not worth fighting. And sometimes it is much, much easier to get on board now and build rapport so that in the future, you can have those conversations at a more meaningful level to influence someone, even when they are operating from expert power. And just like that, 20 minutes has gone by. You're going to be breaking for your conversations. And I want you thinking about three things. The first is, when are times and opportunities that you feel you could leverage these types of power and authority effectively? Number two, can you think of situations and circumstances where people have been operating in this type of power towards you? And thirdly, what is the best way that you plan to respond in the future so that you can build rapport, confidence, and trust? Thank you for your time today. It's been exciting to be here with you remotely, and I will see you next month.